I just wanted to respond to Ntando Duma's apology statement. And shame, I understand that nobody wants this to drag along really, but I felt that as a wheelchair user and driver, it would be irresponsible of me to not respond to the statement and really explain or iron out some issues within it. So I've got the statement right in front of me right now. I hope my battery doesn't die. She starts off by saying that I would like to apologize unreservedly as I fully understand that my behavior was unacceptable. So if her statement really stopped there, I think there would be absolutely no need for me to respond. Because then she's saying that she understands that it was unacceptable and it's all good. But because the statement actually carries on, I would like to also explain what issues I have with the rest of the statement. So later on, she then says that she did not just park in there, but she was instructed to park there by the food establishment. It wasn't just her decision. The food establishment told her to park there. And then secondly, she says that given that this was a quick pickup, which did not require for her to wait long or to leave the car, that's also the reason why she did so. And she says that at no point she refused anyone access to this parking, and this was the point she tried to explain to the lady before they had the altercation. So there's a number of issues with this here. And perhaps before I even get to those issues, it's also important that I explain that Ntando Duma is somebody who has got a huge platform. And with that platform comes responsibility. And the thing is, if you look at even the actual live recording, you can see how many people, you can see the people comment as she was actually recording it. And I really looked for somebody who said to her, nah, sis, I don't agree with what you're doing. All those people at that moment, I think 900 views, were laughing, found it funny, found it fantastic. They were even agreeing with her and cheering her on. And that is actually what bothered me, is that so many of these people are viewing this and people are actually commenting on the spot what they think about this. And those followers look up to her and they are saying, yes, you're doing something good. And that really bothered me. And I said, with a platform that big, we need to be responsible and we need to do the right thing. I am very proud, though, of Black Twitter for actually calling her out at that moment and saying, Guti, no, this was unacceptable. So that shows me, Guti, we do have the spirit of Ubuntu in South Africa still, and that was beautiful to see. But now, going back to the statement that she said and why I've got issues with what she said in the rest of the statement. Now, she says that, first of all, she was instructed to park there by the food establishment. And the big issue with that is that if you know better, you could have simply said, no, it doesn't make sense for me to park here. There's only one or two of those parking spaces and there's 100 of them elsewhere. So if I really don't want to go look for a parking space at the back of maybe there's just free ones right at the back and you're just waiting for your delivery, she could have simply said, I will park on the side in front of other cars, where if somebody wants to come out or in, they can easily just first tell me before they get into their car, and I'll be able to move back or forward just to make way for them. So she could have done that, really. The problem with why that doesn't work within a wheelchair parking space is because if I arrive there and you are parked in that space, there is no way for me to communicate with you and to just explain to you that I need that parking space. I don't have your phone number. I can't phone you. I don't know who you are. I can't get out of my car and walk to your driver's window and say, listen, I need to park in that space. I can't do that. I am standing there and I am an obstruction to other cars as I try to wait for you to get out of there. So I'm in the way and I'm making other people irritated. And it's not even my fault. It's because you're parked in my space. And there is no other space. Even if there's like 6 other open spaces now, I can't go to them because I can't get out of the car. And then even if I hoot, it takes time for drivers to understand why I'm hooting at them from that position. In fact, I've had people ignore me because it's like, what does this person want? and many of the time people think that it's just anybody else that's not in a wheelchair who's trying to get them out of that parking space. It never works. People don't understand what's going on. So if your order takes 5 minutes, I have to wait there, inconveniencing other cars, and I have to wait there for you to get out. Sometimes what I've done is I've just stood there, and when the person wants to come out, I can then just keep standing there until they get out of the car, and I have to explain that you were in my space. What else was I supposed to do? But even that is difficult because me waiting there means I'm blocking other cars from passing in that space. And normally the way that parking space is placed, it's normally very busy because it's right at the front. So that's the first problem with that. And then another big issue that we have with this parking space is exactly what you said. I was just there for 2 minutes. It's never 2 minutes. It's never 5 minutes. It's never a short time. And even if it was, that's my 2 minutes that you're taking. That's my 5 minutes that you're taking. And it's not fair. Why is your 2 minutes more important than mine? What normally happens is that the people are thinking, no, look, I'm going to go pay my parking ticket. I'll be here in a second. You don't even know how the queue at that area looks like. You might be there for 5 minutes longer. And what if I literally get there right after you get out of the car? I have to wait for you, whether there's free parking or not. It's not fair. It's selfish behavior, and it does not have the spirit of Ubuntu, as I was speaking about. And lastly, even if you're saying, I'm just going to go pick up something at the door, again, whatever you think, you don't know the future. You don't know how long it's really going to take you. It's just best to make use of the parking space that you're able to make use of. The parking space for persons with disabilities is there for a reason. And already there is like one or two. And society, we know that there isn't only one or two of us. We know that a lot of old people park in that space as well. We know that not only persons with wheelchairs, people that cannot walk long distances park in that space. We know that space is reserved for so many people, but yet there's only one or two, and you still take it when you don't need it. It's unbelievably unfair, and it's the thing that I have to deal with day in and day out. So yeah, that's really the big problem that we have. And then lastly, she also says that at no point did she refuse anyone access to this parking spot, but you just being in that position refused somebody, whether they were there or not. As I explained earlier on, if I were to come while you were standing there, there's no way that I can actually communicate to say, you're in my space. And even if I do arrive and you understand what I'm saying, the whole idea of reversing and then you need to come out and then I need to get back in, and really, it's just an unnecessary mess. So the reason why I had to respond to this is for you to be able to understand that all of these reasons that you're giving, and as much as you say that you're not trying to justify why you did it, you are trying to justify why you were in that spot. And those are the exact words that everybody who's using that spot uses and says. So if we can just get to a point where we're saying, no, just don't use that parking space if you do not need it, then we're good. And if we can preach this as a nation, then we'll finally get somewhere when it comes to actually saying, okay, we identify, we recognize, we acknowledge that persons with disabilities do exist in our society, in our community, and we have to do certain things to make sure that persons with disabilities are accommodated within that space. So certain things means also understanding that there's a space for this. It's the same way as how some shopping malls have now put spaces for mothers and babies, prams and all of those things. And now you get there and you park there and you don't have a baby, you don't have a pram, you don't have anything, you don't need that parking space, but you're taking it from somebody else that really needs it. The same way as the loading bays. Why do we never park in loading bays? Because we know that at any time, a truck might come in and need to load, and that's the only parking space that exists for them. So why can we not treat parking spaces for persons with disabilities with the same respect that we do now? Even the ambulance one, same thing. So we just need to respect it. And we just need to care about somebody else who's not ourselves. So that's pretty much it. And I really hope that this makes everybody think, not just Ntando Duma, but I really hope that everybody can take a moment to really think and understand this and teach people this. If you're in the car with somebody who wants to park there for 2 minutes and you've seen this, let them know, good to know, dude, let me explain why you can't do this. Let's go look for another parking space. You know what I'm saying?